Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. John Calipari confirmed today he's leaving Kentucky after 15 seasons. Posted his announcement in a video on X. He did not indicate his next move, which reportedly is the head coaching job at Arkansas. Connecticut coach Dan Hurley, asked about the Wildcats opening, said he plans to stay where he is and try to win a third straight national title. First Take host Stephen A. Smith.
He shouldn't even consider Kentucky. It's no longer the job it once was. John Calipari has contributed to the job not being what it once was. You got one title in 15 years. You got one title since 1996. UConn got 6.
Alabama's Nate Oates took himself out of consideration for the Kentucky job as well. Kentucky freshman Rob Dillingham told ESPN's NBA Today he will enter the upcoming NBA draft. He's the number 4 prospect in ESPN's draft projections. In a game that will impact NBA playoff positioning, Lakers host the Warriors tonight. LA is 9th in the West. Golden State a game and a half back in 10th. The Lakers' LeBron James and Anthony Davis both listed as questionable.
As humans, we like having options. One option you might like is speaking with a real person when you call about your credit card. With 24/7 live, U.S.-based customer service from Discover, everyone can talk to a real person anytime, day or night. Limitations apply. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You Sue. And Mr. Toby Tomplin. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. We got a ton to do. Shea Dixon in 15 minutes from right now. Tiger baseball back at the box. The Pels at the Blazers in a huge game. But let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
All right, the men's college basketball season came to a conclusion with the team that was the best team all year standing atop the mountain.
What an amazing run. It is a UConn coronation. The Huskies make history. Back-to-back national.
First team since Florida in 06-07 to go back-to-back. Prior to that was Duke in 91-92. It is really run. Even though it's
had since prior to whoever did it before Duke. To me, it is more impressive than what Florida and Duke did because they brought back their entire teams, and we lost we lost some major players.
It is of course Danny Hurley, back-to-back national champions for UConn. Lee will be here next hour. I no doubt he will bemoan the loss for Purdue. Every year, if you're not familiar, Lee Feinswog comes on the show, and Lee covered like 28 consecutive Final Fours, and every year he picks Purdue to win the national championship. He just thinks Matt Painter's a great coach, and eventually he'll climb the mountain and get there. Last year, of course, Purdue was the number 1 overall national seed, and they lost in a 1-16 game. For this year, for them to bounce back and get all the way to the national championship game, congratulations. They just ran into a juggernaut, a team that just trounced everybody in their path, and UConn is the national championship back-to-back seasons now. I do have to give a hat tip to our dear friend, the one and only, the Otter, the Ott father himself, Jimmy Ott. Ott told us throughout the year that this was his most in college basketball, and fitting that yesterday on the show, not only did Ott give you Zach Edey and Purdue, and it was a rocking chair. Another great way to wrap up the season. Unfortunately, now we're on to baseball. And since go and to go watch the post. I don't know if he can get back on track, if he can get back on the horse, as it were.
Hey, look at that. Yeah, that was a good one.
Bracket, that's fine, but all year.
Okay.
If he'll be LSU women's basketball team. They've been great partners of ours, great partners of our community. This past week, they were sponsoring Rock the Country, a church fair, Bud Light or Bud products, because it's our friends at Mockler. I believe it was 82 golf tournaments. That's more easy with the great Bud Light. Okay. Is back on the diamond tonight. A challenging in-state series for LSU. They have won 3 in a row, but in the last 7, McNeese, since McNeese program, they keep in mind, while they have not announced a starting pitcher tonight, I think it probably stands to reason it'll be Cade Anderson. Was the midweek guy to start the season. He was pitching really well. They tried to use him out of the bullpen in SEC play. Didn't go so great. Would stand to reason that, especially since you used Javen Coleman on Saturday this last week, that in Game 3 that this would be Cade Anderson tonight. We'll see how it goes. But one thing that Jay Johnson was asked about on his coach's show Monday night was Griffin Herring and the possibility of using Griffin Herring in the rotation, especially since you've been run ruled 3 times now in Game 3s. You just have not established your number 3 starter behind Holman and Jump. So
I've always, had a lot of success with having one of your better game that we got to extra innings against Arkansas, where he hit his pitch count at 71. I think he threw that. Really rolling, that only gives you 5 innings, and then you still have to figure out 4+ innings of what you're going to do in the game that he starts. I'm not taking that off the table that we might not do that at some point, but right now, when the guy's pitched in all 3 games that you've won in league play, I think that's where he has his most value.
That, I understand the logic, certainly. The flip side of it is, if you don't have a viable number 3 starter, then a situation like this past Sunday could happen where Vanderbilt scored in every inning, and you're out of the game before you even have a chance to get to your bullpen. The other side of it is, look at this weekend. You're going to Knoxville. Let's say you're going to give the ball to Luke Holman on Friday. Let's say Holman has you in a game, maybe even has a lead. When he exits, you have to be all in to win that game 1 now, because LSU's goals this season have to be recalibrated, right? You're not going to win the SEC. You're not going to be a national seed, barring something dramatically unforeseen like 2008 where you win 23 in a row. You're not, at this pace, certainly going to be a regional host side. At this point, it's like, how do you get into the tournament? And if you get into the tournament, you're playing your best ball, you can go on a run. We've given all the examples, right? The last 3 years. Tennessee, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. We've seen it the last 3 years. Yes, you get in, you can go on a run. It's baseball. LSU's got talent. Things can happen, sure. But you got to get in. So I don't think you're necessarily going into a weekend saying, how do I give myself the best chance to win this weekend? Like Herring number 3, it's, if Holman has the ball on Friday, you have a lead, you're going to your best guy after that to keep that lead and go win that game, because you cannot let any games put your best out there to go win it. She's put itself in by being 3-9 in conference play. I don't know if it'll be enough. We've said it a bajillion times. Everybody has. The second half of conference play lightens up considerably. But if I keep looking at it and going, all right, with your RPI right now in the mid how do I get into the wins? If you get out of your next 18, you need 11 out of your next 18. Can you go 11-7 the rest of the way? Well, with that being, if you lose this weekend, especially if you get swept this weekend, then you're going to have to sweep somebody. You just start doing the math, and the math just doesn't work in your favor. You would have to do something. Way to get, if you can win the series, amazing. But if you have an opportunity on Friday, we're losing 3. I got to win this one right now because it's gettable. So it's kind of a. Our Tuesday shows is always brought to you by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Just on AFR. Glow Resources, complete employer solutions. Our friends over at Glow Resources, they're just the best. If you're hiring, if you haven't been efficient, you haven't been able to find employees, stick instead. Employees to find you. Next career opportunity. If it's welders, carpenters, heavy equipment operators, crane operators, but also Glow Resources can help you on the administrative side. They have a white collar service companies, appliances, CPAs, tax season right now.
Yo, Jake here. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at community today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs. 2020.
Our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product. Tractor package promotions. Learn more at sunequip.com.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years, we continue to serve industrial or hospitality. Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years.
Years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 988.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All right, glad to have you rolling along with us here. Every Tuesday, our good friend Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger, good enough to join us, talk some Cruton. Shady, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. How are you, Matt?
Really, really well. I was out at the open practice for LSU on Saturday, and man, the coaches clinic was going on. So there was a ton of coaches, but Shea, recruits everywhere as well. Is that a normal thing for that final weekend? It would feel like with this weekend, with spring game coming up, this would be the big weekend.
Yeah, they pretty much every practice, I would say. Even the Tuesday, Thursday ones. Look, they had a handful of guys there today. Multiple top 150 prospects were at practice, and that's on a Tuesday morning. So certainly the weekends when they scrimmage on Saturdays are the big event, and they'll have a loaded visitor list for this weekend, the spring game. And obviously there are a lot of schools that are sort of kind of competing for guys to get on campus, with spring games being on the same date for a number of different SEC teams. I don't have it in front of me, but a lot of them play this weekend. So we'll see who all gets to campus. But yes, they do put a major emphasis, as much as I've seen compared to some of these other schools, on getting kids in for practice rather than just getting them to campus for, team meetings and to tour and take photos and all that. I mean, I think they want them to be there to watch their position group and then there to sit in on a position meeting so you can kind of get an actual feel for what it's like to play at LSU.
A lot of families there as well, Shea. It wasn't just the recruits on Saturday; like their moms and dads were there as well with the young men. You can tell it's really a focus for the staff. What are what's the recruiting calendar the weekend like this weekend with the spring game?
Yeah, so they'll have kids will start coming in. What does the game start at 1? So guys will start getting in Saturday morning or Friday night, and then they'll have different events. Whether it's you haven't visited before, well, you'll take a tour of things and go do photos and all that different stuff. If you have, you're probably hanging out, eating, meeting with your position coach, all that. And this is where the off-field support comes in, where all these staffers sort of hang out with the family and get to know them well, and that are a big reason why a lot of these kids commit to schools, because they get a comfort level with staffers who work in recruiting or personnel or whatever it might be. So it's sort of all hands on deck, really, Matt, this weekend, and it'll go through the night. They'll have dinner after and all that, and I wouldn't be shocked if they came out of this weekend with a commitment or maybe 2.
There's a couple of names that we've been talking about pretty consistently. Are there any new names that seem to be bubbling that could be close to popping for LSU?
Yeah, the news of the day, 100% is in, and that's that Alexandria Senior High running back who's going to be a senior, JT Lindsey, got offered. And for those that don't know him, look, he had 1,800 yards, 28 touchdowns for Ash as a junior this past season, and had kind of flown below the radar for some reason. But months ago, he had said, hey, look, LSU and Frank Wilson have been talking to me. We've known forever that LSU is chasing Harlan Berry and James Simon, 2 top 10 running backs. And here comes JT Lindsey, who he still isn't ranked by some services, Matt. But back in February, when we did our kind of debut of the On 300 and really ramped up these guys who are going to be seniors, he went from unranked to top 150. He's the number 11 running back in the country. And he started to pick up more offers. And I think that LSU got him on campus today. Again, he made a campus visit with his family last month. They got him on campus today. And Frank Wilson brought him in his office and said, you've got an offer. So now the running back board has expanded to 3. And as James Simon continues to make visits, I've always considered LSU to be the team to beat. But look, they've got Harlan Berry on board, number 1 running back in the country. And then from talking to JT Lindsey today after his visit, or kind of during his visit after he got the offer, he was thrilled and said, "Look, I'm just a kid from Ash. Like, I hear about Jacoby and making it there and now being a starter. I hear, see what DJ Chark did. So for a kid like that from that area to get an offer from LSU, he said is something that he's dreamt about since he was a kid. So I think this would be one you look at as you put him as a high possibility that with a green light, he ends up being in the class.
Is that a backup plan, Shea, or would they really take 3 running backs in 2025?
Well, a top 150 player, number 11 running back's no backup plan for sure. I also think it's the reality that they're going to keep the best guys home. And right now we're calling their running back room shallow to an extent. Obviously, depth-wise, they have a lot of talent. But with Trey Holly not currently with the team, you're bringing in Durham, who's fantastic, but he'll be a freshman. You've got a veteran in Williams who will be on his way out. And now you're kind of seeing maybe the start of the Caleb Jackson era. You knew they'd want to add 2, and they'd been after those 2 guys, Barry and Simon, from the start. But it's no shock at all that it expanded to 3 because they had been on Lindsey for a while. And look, he's been tearing it up on the track. So you've got verified speed. You've already watched all of his film from every game. And I sort of think back to and you'll remember it well, but the years of the Michael Fords and Alfred Blues and all these guys, King Hilliards, like there might have been a headline or whatever it was, but Frank was signing 2 or 3 guys, and you look up down the road, and Terrence McGee's a starter, or whomever it might be is playing. Michael Ford's playing a big role in big games. So he certainly won't be unafraid to take 3 running backs in 3 Louisiana guys if he thinks all 3 of them can play here.
Yeah, and it's true with the one exception being Spencer Ware. Shea, all the guys you mentioned were Louisiana guys, so it does sort of play.
And Durham is who's from Texas, Duncanville, sorry to cut you off. Durham's the only other running back not from Louisiana that I can remember that Frank signed, being Spencer Ware being the other.
Shea Dixon's with us on 3, the Bengal Tiger. He's on Twitter at Shea Dixon. Shea, also saw the news today. I know Billy Embody had a chance to talk to Philip Bleedy, the defensive lineman from Indiana who's a transfer. He is going to make an official, I don't know, I guess it's not technically called an official, correct me if I'm wrong, but he is going to visit LSU. Where do the Tigers stand there with him?
Yeah, this is a guy who, remember, we've been told by Brian Kelly that they're going to be active in the portal with defensive tackles, interior players, whether you call it a nose or a DT. They're shallow there. They only return 2 guys on scholarship from last year's team, and that's Guillory, who's been playing very well, it appears, this spring, and has certainly been a part of the rotation for what it has been years, and then Jalen Lee, who transferred in from Florida, a kid from Live Oak who was one-time LSU commit, but didn't play a ton last year. So we knew they were going to have to go get guys that go to JUCO and get Sean Washington. They end up signing a 5-star in Dom McKinley. He'll get here this summer. But in the age of the portal, right, Matt, they have to find more depth and more instant impact, I guess you would say. And they added Gio Paez out of Wisconsin. He told me he can play DT or nose. That's kind of what they're selling him on, and he kind of wanted to be in a 4-down defensive look, so that's why he's coming here. And now they're hosting Bleedy, who was at Indiana for a year, started pretty much in every game, 30 tackles. He had some quarterback hurries, but before that, he was at Texas Tech, played 34 games for them, so he's got a couple of 3 seasons under his belt there. So you're seeing them, and I guess it's we're obviously in a spot right now where only grad transfers are allowed to be doing all of this. The official portal window doesn't open until April 16th. Then you don't have to be a grad transfer. It could be anybody. So we'll see more names pop up then, but they've certainly attacked this veteran group here by already getting in the commit from a grad student in Paez and now hosting a guy like Bleedy who is sort of on the back end of his visits, and certainly LSU could be the pick.
It's undeniably they are getting older on the defensive line. Like you talk about Paez, who's going to be a 6-year player. Bleedy would be a 5th-year player. Guillory, a 5th-year player. Lee, a 5th-year player. They got a bunch of men out there as opposed to 18, 19-year-olds just coming into college. It seems like that's pretty intentional. Shea, I was asked by a listener, and you can always get a question in for Shea if you want. You can email us, tweet us, text us, asking about the latest with DeCorian Moore. Is he a potential flip candidate? Is that something where LSU might be concerned?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that the threat level is no more now than it was when he committed, beyond that time has passed. And if you're viewing it from an LSU lens, you've held on to him in that span. And if it's you're viewing it through the Texas Longhorns lens, it's, hey, look, we're getting them on campus more often, and there's 6-7 months to go until the early signing period. You've got to take this back to where it started, which was in August. And remember, Colin Simmons and Caden Durham were the guys that everybody was watching that day. Colin Simmons picks Texas. His teammate Caden Durham, the running back we spoke of out of Duncanville, picks LSU. And then just days later, DeCorian Moore, who is the number one receiver in the country, and nobody's going to catch him. He is an excellent 5-star plus player. Everybody's got him as a 5-star, all the different recruiting services. He announces for LSU when he was considered a Texas lock. Like, his whole family had Texas ties. They were around the area. I mean, the Longhorns had shoot him into the class. And all of a sudden you look up and not only do you have DeCorian Moore, but then you get Underwood and Barry, and you've got the number one class. And he's talked a ton about growing up watching Odell and that being kind of who he modeled this game after. And obviously having Durham here, one of his teammates, helps. And we'll see. This will be a big battle in the state of Texas to try to get what is the best receiver in the country. And the good news for LSU is he's committed right now, and you've got a great class. So just sort of keep building on that. And I think you're going to have to hold on tight, but that's no surprise to anyone, given LSU sort of shocked the world whenever they got him.
Shea, before you go, any other players or positions here with the spring game coming up this weekend, which is going to be a big weekend that we should be keeping an eye on?
Yeah, I know I've talked before on the show about D-line, but at the high school level. Like, where does Bo Davis start to go with D-line commits? Because we haven't seen any new ones come in. And I'm watching that this weekend. He's hosting a number of guys. I think that we're starting to see some of these guys make their second and third visits since he's been on staff. So I'm sort of watching to see, hey, look, does someone pop? And I'll give you one name, Jeremiah McLeod. He's out of Florida, but he's committed to Mississippi State. And whenever LSU offered, and so did Florida, sort of the insiders in Starkville said, hey, watch out for this. This could be a kid who opens things back up. I've heard some of that same buzz, and now he's going to be in town again this weekend. I wouldn't be shocked if it was one of those things where he says visits, opens things back up, and LSU gets viewed sort of as the team to beat, with Florida being another watch. So I think D-line dominoes will soon start to drop here. It's just give Brad Davis those first 3 or 4 months, and then he fills up the board and goes from there.
Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Shea Dixon. Great time to jump aboard, obviously, with the spring portal window coming and the spring game this weekend. Shea, we appreciate it as always, man. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. I said Brad Davis. I meant Bo Davis. I'll have to get used to that.
All the B. Davises. There was no sense in correcting. We all knew what you meant, but we appreciate it, Shea. Thank you.
Later, Matt.
See you, bud. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. We're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawbillsTire.com, ShawbillsTire.com, with locations all over South Louisiana. If you're thinking, or if you need new tires, you're thinking about buying new tires, about time, well, you go where you're going to get the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible. I mean, let's be honest. You're talking about a commodity. There's a lot of places that can sell you Michelin and BF Goodrich and Bridgestone and Firestone. So how do you choose? Well, go to the place that's going to sell you those the highest quality tires at the cheapest price possible. That's Shawbills, and they're going to give you the best service. That's Shawbills, where it's part of the Charlie's Dozen. You buy tires at Shawbills, they have the price match guarantee. Buy tires at Shawbills within 30 days. If you see them advertised cheaper, they'll refund you 125% of the difference. They guarantee you're going to get the best price, and they're going to treat you like family. Free alignment, free tire rotations. Free tire repairs for the life of the tires. So many other things. It's all part of the Charlie's Dozen. It's Shawbills. Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. Yeah, with speaking of Joseph Bleedy real quick, the defensive tackle out of Purdue. So he started his he's going to visit, Paul, if you have that graphic still, he's going to visit LSU this weekend. And Shea had talked about Bleedy a couple of weeks back when he was here with us, and how seriously LSU was pursuing him. And I know he just alluded to it there. But if LSU gets Joseph Bleedy, it's so interesting because, and this is a guy who is, Bleedy will be entering his, I said Joseph, forgive me, Philip Bleedy, sorry. He'll be entering his 5th collegiate season. He's played in 46 games. He's married, by the way, with kids. So you're talking about a guy who is just an adult human. And when you think about this defensive line position coming into spring, where you knew you had Jacoby and Guillory, Jalen Lee, and you were so thin on numbers, you moved Kimo Makanaiole to the defensive line from the offensive side. Well, now look at what's going to happen, right? If you get a guy like Philip Bleedy, you're going to have Guillory, who's a fifth-year player, Jalen Lee, who's a fifth-year player, Sean Washington from JUCO is a third-year player, Kimo, if he stays there, is a fourth-year player, but first on the defensive side. You're adding Dominic McKinley, who's a five-star, Gio Paez, who's a sixth-year player, who's played in 34 games, and Bleedy, who's a fifth-year player, married with children, and has played in 46 career games. You've gone from being like 18, 19-year-olds, like developing your defensive line, thin on numbers, to a whole bunch of dudes that are 23, 24 years old that have played in 30, 40 games, and all of a sudden, you just have a lot more experience depth. You may not have Glenn Dorsey or Kyle Williams or Claude Roten or Michael Brockers or Benny Logan. Like, you may not have an all-American on that line, but it stands to reason that you're at least deeper and more experienced there than you were a year ago. So we'll see if they can get him. Philip Bleedy is the next defensive lineman who's visiting LSU. We'll see if they can get him in the boat. Okay, it's After Further Review. Tuesday shows powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. When I got a quick break, go around the SEC. A ton to do. I do want to talk about Cam Jordan, who was on the McAfee show earlier today. Kind of gave a timeline for the remainder of his career. We'll get to that coming up in about 30 minutes. It's AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Rouse's. This feels like home. You can always go to the website over at Rouse's.com. Now, look, yes, obviously, Rouse's has a ton of boiled. And they have boiled crawfish, hot and boiled crawfish every day at every Rouse's location. Remember, when you go to Rouse's and you buy their crawfish, they have live and boiled, but their boiled crawfish, every single Rouse's location has a boiling room in-house. So all of their crawfish are boiled hot in-house every day. So you know you're getting the best. It's at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints, and so many other great options as well. You can check out all the Rouse's branded items, how they always shop local, and they try to source locally for all of their ingredients in their Rouse's branded products when they can. They're so committed to local. It's Rouse's. This feels like home.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana. helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques, Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Basket full of chicken and a big cold jug of sweet tea. I make a little room and she climbs.
After further review powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Mark your calendar and invite your friends as we celebrate the NFL Draft in style with the Boudreaux's Electric ESPN Baton Rouge Draft Party live from Don Juan's Cigar Bar exclusively on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Join us Thursday, April 25th at 7 p.m. and hang with the ESPN Baton Rouge team while we indulge in the finest cigars paired with signature cocktails. It's the Boudreaux's Electric ESPN Baton Rouge Draft Party at Don Juan's Cigar Bar and live on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel.
John Calipari today formally announced he is departing Kentucky and heading to Kansas. Here was John Calipari. He posted about a 4-minute video on his social media saying farewell to Big Blue Nation. Here's just a little piece of it.
This is a dream job. It was my dream job. Anybody in our profession looks at the University of Kentucky in basketball and said, that is the bluest of blue. The last few weeks, we've come to realize that this program probably needs to hear another voice, that the university as a whole has to have another voice giving guidance about this program that they hear. And the fans need to hear another voice.
It's about a 4-minute statement, as I mentioned, that John Calipari posted on his social media, thanking everybody from assistants and coaches and their family, the players, their families, everybody, for his time at Kentucky. 15 years. He won a national title back in 2012, but it was clear that Kentucky was ready to move on, and but for a $33 million buyout would have after this season moved on. And so Calipari had an opportunity to amicably split and go tackle a new challenge, and he'll do that at Arkansas. So honestly, I think the way that it happened probably makes John Calipari, it probably keeps intact more so John Calipari's legacy instead of continuing to watch things wane under his watch, leaving now while, I mean, you're still a very solid program. I mean, he mastered the one and done. I mean, he was perfect for the NIL era. Can he do the same at Arkansas? Oh, we'll see. I'm sure we'll see in relatively short order. Okay, it's after further review. So a lot of dominoes falling, by the way, around Kentucky and around Arkansas right now with, of course, Muss leaves Arkansas for USC. Now John Calipari takes the job, leaving the Kentucky job open. It just sets off a domino reaction, right? When Andy Enfield left USC for SMU, it's the musical chairs, the coaching carousel that spins. So how many programs are touched and affected by this now, this seismic move with, one of, as I'll put it, the 4 best jobs in college basketball open. It's Kentucky, North Carolina, Kansas, Duke, in whatever order, and one of them's open. So who is interested? How does it go? We'll find out, I'm sure, here in short order. But John Calipari today formally saying goodbye to the University of Kentucky. Okay, we're going to go around the SEC in just a smidge. We're brought to you by Pure Restoration, pure-restoration.com, pure-restoration.com. Kill mold, remove odor. If you have mold, think you might. Look, if you look up at your air vents, maybe you're in a public building, maybe you're in a church, a school, a shopping center, any type of commercial building, or your home. Look at the air vent. You see little black specks? That's mold. If you have black mold, think you might. Sometimes it's hidden behind walls. You don't even know you have it. It can be hazardous. It can be dangerous. Pure Restoration can knock it out affordably and efficiently. They come in, they'll spray their patented non-toxic dry fog. Let me say that again. Patented, non-toxic dry fog, meaning nobody else has this formula. And because it's a dry fog, you're not cutting sheetrock or pulling things out of your home. They come in, they spray. As soon as the fog dissipates, boom, you're done. Mold's killed, odor gone. It's pure restoration. Pure-restoration.com. Pure-restoration.com. Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Well, John Calipari moving on to Arkansas. Nate Oates was mentioned as a possible candidate on Monday evening. Oates released a statement quelling any rumors of a move, saying he is proud to be the Alabama coach and he will stay in Tuscaloosa. By the way, his buyout jumps to $18 million. Might be one of the reasons why Nate Oates is staying put.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
4-star forward Isaiah Elohim has requested a release from his letter of intent. He will reopen his recruitment, of course, with Eric Musselman leaving Arkansas to go to USC. Even with John Calipari coming in, Elohim wants out. He's currently the 46th best player in the country, the 13th best small forward, 6th best prospect in the state of California. He did initially pick the Razorbacks over Kansas and Villanova.
The Auburn Tigers.
After a rocky freshman season as Auburn's primary point guard, Aiden Holloway is hitting the transfer portal. He joins K.D. Johnson, Trey Donaldson as the third Auburn guard to enter the portal right now. Holloway is a former 5-star recruit, brought in large part because of his shooting ability. Shots didn't really fall this year, so now Holloway hitting the portal after just one season.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Another wide receiver has committed to South Carolina for the class of 2025. 3-star Brian Rowe jumped aboard with the Gamecocks before leaving town on an unofficial visit. He's the 52nd best wide receiver in the class of 2025. He's out of the state of North Carolina, 8th best player in North Carolina. Rowe, 6 foot, 175-pounder. He joins 3-star wide receiver Jaden Sellers as the second commit for the Gamecocks 2025 class.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
And how about this? Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss football program continuing to think outside the box. Of course, they had their annual Grove Bowl for their spring game, right? Well, instead of having a traditional scrimmage, the Rebels are going to adopt something similar to what the NFL does for the Pro Bowl. There's going to be skill-based activities. There's going to be a 7-on-7 matchup out there. And they're even going to have fun non-football related activities. They're bringing in Joey Chestnut for a hot dog eating contest that will apparently involve players as well. So Kiffin claims to not having eaten a hot dog in about a year, but he'll be out there. For the competitors, by the way, Jackson Dart will be out there, and defensive tackle J.J. Pegues. They're going to be the coaches this weekend for the competition. No word, though, if they're going to be competing against Chestnut for the hot dog eating contest.
I'd like to see Pegues do that. He's massive.
But you know, one of those things, listen. By the way, there you have it. That is around the SEC. But Muse, Joey Jaws Chestnut was in this studio 18 months ago, was he not?
Yeah, he was.
Sat right there.
Saw him.
It was a Friday.
Yep.
Terrio was here. It
was good.
Chestnut was our guest picker. He came in studio. It was the Arkansas game 2 years ago.
Yep.
Here. And he was doing a Fat Boys Pizza eating contest out on campus the day of the game. And the day before, he came in here. Came in studio with us. Joey Chestnut was sat right there. I'm bigger than Joey Chestnut.
Yeah.
It ain't about how big you are. I think sometimes the biology behind that, the bigger you are, might actually be a detriment.
Well, yeah.
It's just about expanding your stomach. I say it's just about expanding. So, like, yeah, no,
it's
just
simple.
Expand your stomach, and you can shove 60 hot dogs and buns in your gullet there in 10 minutes. Yeah, it doesn't really work that way. Yeah, it ain't about being big.
I mean, I get it.
Ain't about being big.
I get it. I mean, athlete, young guy, in shape, big. How many could he eat? He's not going to beat Joey Chestnut, but how many could he put away?
Max 10.
Okay.
In 10 minutes. 1 a minute. And I think that...
I think that's impressive.
And I bet he has a reversal. Shoving 10 hot dogs and buns in your mouth?
Yeah.
10? 10. Whew. I mean, you give him an hour, eat, take a breather, come back. When it's just like boom, 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 you're dipping the buns in water. Like, that would be the thing to make me think. Dipping a bun in water and having to shove it in your head. It's disgusting. Exactly. It's disgusting. Who would want to do that? You got to chipmunk it. You know, you put them in your cheeks like that.
Yeah. It's gross.
Someone is going to clip that, and that's going to end up all over social media.
Probably.
Be going cheeks. That's going to happen. Did you see my blooper reel with Sharif?
No.
No. Go look. I got to go. I'll go look at my Twitter. You'll see it. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel. Two awesome properties. Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Watermark has both the Gregory and Milford's on 3rd. So if you're wandering around downtown, if you want a great meal, of course, fine dining there at the Gregory. Milford's on 3rd, sandwich shop, which you can access through the hotel or from 3rd Street. I mean, it's just a great place to go and have a glass of wine or a cocktail. It's the Watermark Hotel. And if you're dining at the Gregory, I mention this all the time. A lot of times people tell me they don't want to go downtown because they don't have to park. Well, if you're dining at the Gregory, remember, parking is complimentary. Valet parking is complimentary. So just pull up, they'll valet your car for free. And the Renaissance, of course, right there on Bluebonnet, the next couple of Fridays, they've got great events coming up. I did confirm with Allison yesterday, this is a complimentary event. Like, you don't need a ticket or anything like that. This Friday, 6 to 8:30 p.m., it's the Sugarfield Spirits tasting with some great cocktails. It's free. It's at the Renaissance Hotel from 6 to 8:30 p.m.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com. Oh, by the way, we do shutters too.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends.
It really turns her on. She's always staring at me while I'm chugging along.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Not too late. Still get your tickets for a John Deere Gator. The purple and gold Gator, all the proceeds going to Louisiana 4-H and Future Farmers of America. SunEquip.com, SunEquip.com. Tuesday show is powered by Sunshine. Go get you a zero-turn mower. Hey, before we were going to break, I mentioned that, my blooper reel with Sharif. So, Sharif Ishak, been a friend for a long time. He comes on the show. Because his sports takes aren't any good, we really just have him to talk about frat names. That's what he's probably, that's his honey hole.
Yeah, coming up, Alabama baseball is on the schedule again.
Really looking forward to it. As a matter of fact, a little disappointed we haven't had Sharif on yet for any names. Well, from time to time, because I actually do have good sports opinions and I can carry him because he's not very good, Sharif will invite me to come on for a new segment at WDSU. We usually do it via Zoom. Fletcher does as well. They've been super kind to have me. And
that virtual Zoom, bro.
Yeah, it's so good. It'll never get old. I hope it never gets old. Let me say it that way. So last night we recorded an LSU spring sort of segment, and my son Drew was there. And if you've ever watched any of the content that I do for my house, long ago I gave up on trying to keep him out of the office when I'm recording or doing anything live. It's just, you know what, bleep it, come on in. So last night Drew was watching his tablet, and he loves to watch elevator videos, and he loves to watch backpack blow, like lawn equipment, like mowers and blowers and edgers and weed eaters. He loves to watch videos of all that stuff. I don't know. So anyway, I'm doing this segment with Sharif, and he's just squealing and cackling and laughing so much every time I start an answer. Here, can you play this?
Hard to be worse. And
Sharif put it in. It's in mono. Or is that stereo?
No. Your question was good. I think
I can't tell.
It's low on one of the channels. Anyway.
Yeah.
Drew is. You're probably hearing him squeal in there.
Tradition unlike any other. If he doesn't make an appearance, I'd be surprised.
I know. All right. The thing about this LSU defense is they don't need to dramatically improve.
Could you hear just a little squeal in the back?
Sorry. I don't know if y'all can hear that.
I can't.
There's a point where. Hang on.
Why are you soaking wet?
Because you walked in my office.
Blower.
He's getting me to say words of blade blower, blade guard. I'm telling you, he's just watching these videos.
Literally watching YouTube videos of backpack blowers and weed eaters. That's what's got him so excited.
That's how this goes. So for real, when you see things on TV and there's recorded things like that, you never know what a blooper reel looks like. It took us many takes where I had to stop and just pick up an answer. So to whoever the editors are at WDSU, my apologies and my gratitude for making it work with Drew's interruptions. But I always appreciate Sharif for the invite. All right, it's after further review. The real quick, after the top of the hour, I want to talk about Cam Jordan. He was on the McAfee show today and kind of gave a timeline for his retirement. So I want to talk about that. But the NCAA Division I Council could adopt emergency legislation this month for a new transfer rule that would allow all undergraduate athletes to transfer and play immediately if they meet academic requirements. So essentially, you would no longer need a waiver. That temporary injunction from the West Virginia ruling would become sort of a permanent thing from the NCAA. Essentially, the NCAA said, look, we keep losing in court. Do what you want. We're washing our hands of it. You want to transfer every year? Transfer everywhere. You're immediately eligible as long as you're academically cleared. So you may hate where we are with intercollegiate athletics, but it's more likely that you hate how quickly it happened, whereas if the NCAA had actually done the right thing and done right by their student athletes over the last decades, there would have been a gradual transformation of intercollegiate athletics instead of this very abrupt, boom, everybody can transfer all the time and everybody can make as much money as they want. So we got to the end. We just got there at a different rate because the NCAA fought before they finally just let go, which is where you are now. So I'll say it again. Why can adult coaches who have contracts and recruit these student athletes to their campuses abruptly leave and student athletes can't? No. I'm totally fine. You can go whenever you want, wherever you want. Be a free agent every year if you want. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. If you're thinking of buying land, they're the best at First South Farm Credit because for more than 100 years, First South Farm Credit has done one thing. You want to buy land for agriculture to put your John Deere tractor to work? First South Farm Credit can help. You need 1,000 acres? First South Farm Credit. You need to finance your farm equipment? First South Farm Credit. Look, if you're a Louisianian looking to buy land, you need First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com, FirstSouthLand.com. All right, Cam Jordan, his retirement timeline. That's next.
AFR.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
This is SportsCenter. I'm Christine Lisi. John Calipari's time in Lexington officially is over. Announced on X that he's leaving Kentucky. He did not indicate, though, his next move. Said they've come to realize the last few weeks the Wildcats program probably needs to hear another voice. Kentucky had a fair amount of success in his 15 seasons, but they have struggled in the NCAA tournament the last few years. With UConn's Dan Hurley and Alabama's Nate Oates saying they're staying put, there is one SEC coach that Kentucky needs to call, advises ESPN basketball analyst Seth Greenberg.
If it's not Coach Hurley and it's not Billy Donovan, the best fit for Kentucky, in my opinion, is Bruce Pearl. Because he brings all the energy, the passion, the ownership. He's a brilliant coach. He had success at Tennessee. He's had incredible success at Auburn.
Calipari's reportedly heading to Arkansas. Billy Donovan, of course, the Chicago Bulls coach. NBA, LeBron James, Anthony Davis questionable for the Lakers tonight against the Warriors. Key matchup for postseason positioning. LA 9th in the West, Golden State a game and a half back in 10th. NHL, Oilers megastar Connor McDavid considered day-to-day with a lower body injury.
As humans, we like having options. One option you might like is speaking with a real person when you call about your credit card. With 24/7 live, U.S.-based customer service from Discover, everyone can talk to a real person anytime, day or night. Limitations apply. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Feinswog in about 15 minutes. Excited about this one because, boy, Lee was right there. Man, it was right there. Can we do it again? Man, a decade of picking Purdue to win the national championship, and they were a game away. But the best team won. Congrats to UConn, the national champion, for the 6th time in program history. We'll talk to Lee here in about 15 minutes from right now. I also want Lee's take on the Kentucky job and who he thinks might be a fit there. All right. So earlier on Tuesday, Cam Jordan was a guest on the McAfee show. And they asked him a question and phrased it sort of like, when and what he wants to do in media whenever his playing career is over. And what Cam kind of inadvertently did here was kind of gave a timeline on retirement and what he wants to do on the field before then. So give a listen to what Cam had to say, and then we'll react.
Man, I've been blessed enough to finally play a 17-game season, albeit I did it on a bum ankle for the last 8 games of the season. But I think when it comes down to, my playing days for the next 2 years with the Saints, I'm just trying to win a Super Bowl, whatever that takes. I know that there's a Super Bowl in New Orleans, and I'm trying to be a part of that, and not just on the outside looking in factor. I want the Saints to be in New Orleans, playing for the city, playing for our championship. And I think, even pre-draft, we had a team that came on strong at the end, and we had a chance for a playoff push. All we need is a chance. And so that, the next phase, whenever I do retire and move on into media, we don't know what that looks like. I'm gonna keep the main thing, and that is hopefully getting back to winning football in black and gold.
Okay, so what Cam said there, to be clear, was at the beginning 2 more years in New Orleans. Now, when you look at his contract, that might be sort of what he's thinking with the way that it's been structured. And maybe that was sort of an inadvertent slip, or maybe he's just being very forthright to say he's got a 2-year contract and he becomes an unrestricted free agent in 2026. So he's got 24, 25, then an unrestricted free agent. And the way that the Saints have structured this deal, it really precludes them from moving Cam Jordan. Cam Jordan has a dead cap number in 2024 of $37 million and a dead cap number in 2025 of nearly $24 million. So if the Saints were to move Cam Jordan, they would take a massive financial bath for a team that is already dreadful when it comes to the cap situation, as we all know that their approach has been. So there really isn't a situation here like when Houston sort of allowed J.J. Watt to move on to go hunt a championship before his career ended. They got close in Houston. They had some good teams. He was the NFL Defensive Player of the Year. He's going to be a first-ballot Hall of Famer. But as it got toward the end of the career, Houston wasn't a contender, and so it was like, hey, look, go see if you can get you one. He went to Arizona, and it didn't work out there. The Saints don't really have that option for Cam now because of the contract situation they're in. So and by the way, Cam willingly agreed to that deal to stay in New Orleans. He wants to win in New Orleans. And I respect that so much. Like, as a lifelong Saints fan, as someone who was born in New Orleans, families from New Orleans, bleeds black and gold, always have, I love the fact that in this era, in every sport, not only a free agency, but super teams and guys trying to collaborate to go where they can to win and form these super teams. I love that this man was a first-round pick of the New Orleans Saints and is going to play his entire career with one team. I respect it so much. And that's not to discredit other guys that leave. Do you? If there's a better opportunity with more money or whatever it is that's better for your family, go do it. But Cam Jordan is an outlier. He's a unicorn, a guy that was drafted by a team and is going to play his entire career with that team because he wants to win with that team. Unfortunately for Cam, if he's saying he's got 2 years left on his deal and then it looks like he's going into media, Cam Jordan is 34 years old and coming off his worst season, his least productive year since his rookie year. Cam Jordan had 2 sacks. And he's right, played in 17 games. Cam had sort of famously never missed a game in his career, but since 2021, 21 and 22, he missed a game in each of those seasons. Then this year played a full 17. But even still, had just 2 sacks. That was his lowest total since his rookie year back in 2011 when he had 1 sack. So 34 years old, huge cap number, coming off the least productive year of his career since his rookie season, a team that Vegas is projecting to win over under 7.5 games. Last year, you were in the worst division in football with what everyone thought was the best quarterback among the worst division, and you should have been in the playoffs, and you didn't make it now for a 3rd consecutive year. The window for the Saints, realistically, as constructed, is closed. It is closed. And it's disappointing because for Cam, he has seen so much since he came into the league. Remember when Cam Jordan was drafted? First-round pick of 2011. Cam's rookie year was the best team the Saints ever had in 2011. 2009 won the Super Bowl. Everyone, even guys from that team, agree the 2011 team was better. It was literally the best offense in NFL history, that 2011 Saints team. And it just so happened to be a year where Green Bay went 15-1. They were the 1 seed, and so the Saints had to travel in the divisional round. And they went to the Niners, and they lost. And it sucks, and it was an amazing all-time game, and Pierre Thomas got concussed and knocked out of the game early, and Jimmy Graham and Vernon Davis were back and forth. It was an all-time great game, and the Saints came up short. Then Bountygate. Then Peyton's back, and you make the playoffs, and you lose it. You beat Philly, you lose in Seattle. And then you started the run of back-to-back 7-9 seasons. And then you got it back on track, and your window opened. And from 2017 to 2020, you were all in to get another one for Drew. 2018, you're the 1 seed. You're at home in the NFC Championship game, and the worst call in the history of the NFL goes against you, and you miss your window because you would have gone to the Super Bowl and obliterated New England that year. And instead, New England beat the Rams in one of the most boring Super Bowls on record. And it sucks. It sucks. It sucks. They were that close twice with Cam, 2011, 2018, and they just didn't do it. But that window is closed. Like, there is no reason to think, realistically, as constructed, the New Orleans Saints will win a Super Bowl in the next 2 years. I want to give you some perspective here. This year, the New Orleans Saints odds to win the Super Bowl, they're plus 8,000. Okay? That means you bet $100. If the Saints win the Super Bowl, you win $8,000. Okay? They are at the bottom of the league as far as Super Bowl odds. They're in the bottom 10. If you go and look at the longest odds ever to win the Super Bowl, so from the preseason, the longest odds ever, the 8 longest odds teams. Number 8 is the Baltimore Ravens in 2000. They were plus 2,200. The 07 Giants were plus 3,000. Again, this is preseason odds. The 1980 Oakland Raiders plus 3,500. The 82 Redskins plus 3,500. The 81 Niners, the first Super Bowl for Joe Montana, they were plus 5,000. The top 3 longest odds ever. The 01 Patriots plus 6,000. The 2017 Eagles plus 6,000. And the longest odds ever were the 99 St. Louis Rams at plus 15,000. Okay? So you can look at those 3. You can look at those 3 and say, hey, look, it's happened. The 01 Patriots were plus 6,000. The 2017 Eagles were plus 6,000. The 99 Rams were plus 15,000. It's happened. Yes, it has. You're a football fan. What do those 3 teams all have in common? 01 Patriots, 17 Eagles, 99 Rams, aside from the fact that they won the Super Bowl. What do all 3 of them have in common? Anybody? Muse, Paulie? What do those 3 things have in common?
Quarterback.
What about it?
Franchise quarterback?
No.
Oh.
What happened in their season?
The quarterback got injured.
All 3 of them ended up with a backup quarterback. The 01 Patriots, Drew Bledsoe gets injured. Brady takes over, leads them to the Super Bowl. The 2017 Eagles, Carson Wentz, who's having an MVP season, tears his ACL. Nick Foles takes him to the Super Bowl. The 99 Rams, Trent Green gets injured. Here comes the guy from the Arena League who leads the greatest offense ever. And they win the Super Bowl after having started the season plus 15,000. My point is, your only prayer is one of those situations. Jake Haener becomes Kurt Warner. Or maybe you draft Russell Wilson this year. Remember, Russell Wilson was a 3rd-round pick. The Seahawks signed Matt Flynn. They draft Russell Wilson in round 3. He wins the job. In his 2nd year in the NFL, Russell Wilson and the Seahawks win the Super Bowl. They blew the doors off of Peyton Manning in Denver in that game in New York. That's your own, as you are constructed, you can't do it. You have to have something like the 3 I just mentioned, where you have a quarterback who comes out of nowhere and transcends the game and takes your team in a completely different direction, because you're not doing it with Derek Carr. I don't think Jake Haener's that guy, but I'm sure there were a lot of people back at the beginning of the 2001 season that didn't think Tom Brady was going to go win 7 Super Bowls in his career. I'm not saying Jake Haener is going to be that guy. I'm just saying there would have to be an improbable scenario to unfold for the Saints to win that Super Bowl in the next 2 years. So, listen, I don't want to just poo-poo what Cam Jordan is saying. Again, if you're just joining us, Cam Jordan was on McAfee, basically said he's trying to win a Super Bowl in New Orleans. The Super Bowl is in New Orleans this year, and he's got 2 years left to do it, and then he's going to retire and go to TV. Unless if you have your Tom Brady replacing Bledsoe, Warner replacing Trent Green, Russell Wilson, 3rd-round pick, Foles replacing Wentz, unless you have that scenario unfold, you're going to be a sub-500 team that misses the playoffs, because as you're constructed, you can't do it. And it's unfortunate for Cam because he's stuck. The Saints can't move him because of his contract. And that window is likely closed. All right. It's after further review. We'll talk Purdue basketball, the Kentucky job, and beer with Lee Feinswog next.
AFR.
Love telling you about Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Segan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham. Mid-City on Donmore and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. You know where to find them. Any of those 4 locations, y'all, it is time. The weather is gorgeous. I know it's actually supposed to be rainy tomorrow, but you know what I mean? Just in general, it's gorgeous. We're talking about temps generally in the 70s, maybe touching low 80s. It's not super humid. It is so nice to get in your yard and just plant something. And my goodness, our friends at Clegg's have an amazing selection. Every single day, they have new shipments of flowers and plants and trees and shrubs arriving to keep those greenhouses full. If you go to the Segan Lane location, they just expanded their greenhouse. Cool project that they did to expand their square footage. If you need garden and lawn decor, if you need weed and feed, they've got it at Clegg's Nursery. Any of the 4 locations, been supporting our community for 6 decades. Buy local, shop local, Clegg's Nursery.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
The best.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
We've played against athletes, and played against some really good defensive guys this year and in the tournament, but not the collection of defensive players like UConn has. We'd play against somebody and they'd have a lockdown defender. These guys are bringing lockdown defenders off the bench. Defense always travels, and, tip the hat to them. They were great.
That's the voice of Matt Painter, Purdue head coach. Team comes up just short. Lee, you were right there, man. God, dog. Did you think it was going to happen?
No, because I was right in my prediction, too, that UConn was the best team. In fact,
I don't bet, but I did say before both games of the men's and the women's championships that I thought South Carolina would win by 15, and the South Carolina women won by 12. And then I thought that UConn would win by 15, and UConn won by 15. UConn was very, very impressive. I mean, they both were. Purdue, what a great season. I mean, especially to bounce back after what happened last year. And for anybody listening to this for the first time, to make sure you know that for roughly 15 years, I come on before the tournament on this segment and always predict Purdue. And I don't even know. I mean, have you ever been close? And of course, it's been a terrible postseason run for them until this year. Last year losing as a 1 to a 16, and it was just a really good team. You got to like the way they played, but they did things that I give total credit to UConn for. But Purdue went 1 for 7 from 3-point range, and the balance and the speed and the just come at you from UConn. What a good team. This is something I don't know if you've thought about, and I have, because it's not just basketball, but it's other sports as well. But UConn's in the Big East. And with us pretty much going to a Power 4, I wonder how many athletic directors and presidents in the Power 4 don't want teams from the Big East being a part of this. Well, why give them a piece of this action? And I you hear things like, the tournament could get expanded, and we're going to go to 4 exclusive conferences that don't allow the others in. And there are good basketball programs, and then there are good teams and other sports sprinkled throughout the smaller conferences that are not going to have a chance to do this again. I think this is going to be few and far between.
Well, I think the caveat here, Lee, is the Power 4, as it were. That will certainly be the case for football. But remember, you know this, but just for the benefit of our audience, the NCAA doesn't crown a football champion. The playoff is outsourced. The conferences come together and they collectively outsource their postseason to the college football playoff. So that will continue, but the NCAA tournament is still going to have to fill a field of teams. And so the thing that makes the tournament great and so profitable is all of the representation. So from the blue bloods to the mid-major. So I don't see that changing unless if you see some type of format or structure that I don't.
I hope I'm wrong, but I think that over the course of time, it'll become even tilted more towards those powerful conferences, because power begets power. And, we'll see. I hope I'm wrong, because the NCAA men's basketball tournament is America's sport, because it brings in everybody from all walks of the country, and little guys, big schools, little schools, all over. Everybody's got something invested in it, and they care about it. And I hope they don't mess it up.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Oh, it was just it was 4 really fun days of watching basketball because of the way they laid it out, with the women's semifinals, then the men's semifinals, and the women's final, and then the men's final. The women, just the inordinate number of missed 1 and 2 foot shots is stunning. A friend of mine said, "You know who leads the nation in blocks in women's basketball?" And I said, "No." He said, "The underside of the rim." And it's just rough. And it's, like, I'll give you an example. Caitlin Clark was 5 of 13 on 3-pointers in the championship game, and she was 5 of 15 inside the arc. Her team was 9 of 23 on 3-pointers and 14 of 40 inside the arc. It's the damnedest thing that women have stepped back and are shooting long distance threes and mid-range jumpers, and have so much trouble with the ball under the basket and at the basket. It's something else. And one more thing, if I can still.
I don't think that that's uncommon, though, Lee, because you're talking about a game that's played below the rim. And so when our eye is trained to watch the men's game, where a 2-footer is a floater where you're literally just placing the ball in the basket. For the women, a lot of time that has to go off the backboard while being contested, and a lot of times under the rim, and a lot of times just trying to draw contact. So it's a very different game. So when you can create spacing from the basket, yeah, you're going to have a cleaner look and you can knock down a shot. I mean, I think that's why it is the way it is. It's just a fundamentally different game. I'm not defending it. It's just
right. Oh,
I think that's the explanation for why you see so many missed shots close to the basket.
I just didn't want all that hardcore research to go to waste.
I'm glad you did because it is compelling. Because Lee, there are people who say, well, you might like the women's game because it's more fundamentally sound, which is not really the case. It's just played beneath the rim, so you don't have rim rocking dunks and exciting blocks and all, and high flying type plays. It's just a fundamentally different game. I'm not saying good or bad. It's just different.
The one thing the two sports have in common at the highest levels, men's basketball and women's basketball, the officials just can't keep up. They don't know how to call the game.
I agree.
Watching the women's side of it was incredibly maddening. And on the men's side, there's just so much that's anticipated. The saying about the rising tide lifts all boats. And for that reason, I'm ecstatic about how many people watch the women, how they had television ratings and the enthusiasm that they had this year. And I think that will be great for not just women's basketball, but all women's sports in America. And that's a huge thing. The one misleading thing was they talked about how much more valuable their tickets were on the resale market. Well, yeah, because the crowd in Cleveland had 18,300, and the crowd for the men's game was 74,423, right, which means they had 4 times as many nosebleed seats for dirt cheap. And if you've ever been in one of those nosebleed seats in a football stadium to watch a basketball game, you wouldn't go back.
I've done it twice. So, I've done it at the Superdome and then the old Georgia Dome in Atlanta the year that Georgetown and Ohio State, if you remember, it was Roy Hibbert and Greg Oden in that Final Four. I was there in the nosebleeds, like halfway behind the curtain, Lee. So half of the court was obstructed where I was sitting. It was not a great experience. It was cool to be there, but it was not a great viewing experience.
I remember that when they used to do the curtains. That's funny that you brought Greg Oden, a name I hadn't thought of. What a great college player who, of course, got hurt and never had much of a pro career. Was a really good kid. Really, really good kid.
Lee Feinswog is with us, Sports 225. So Purdue loses the national championship game. Well, I'll look forward to you predicting them to win it again next year. Maybe they'll get over the hump. What do you think about the Kentucky job with Calipari leaving?
John Brady said it best when he was about midway through his LSU basketball coaching career. He said, you shouldn't stay more than like 11 or 12 years. He said after that, and it's no good. And I heard Calipari make some statement about, they might have been tuning him out. And, he probably, to the Kentucky basketball community and maybe to the players he was recruiting, becoming like the teacher in Peanuts, wah, 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 wah. And his time there, look, they can go out and hire whoever they want. As soon as I heard that they were going to have an opening, I thought Billy Donovan. Okay, if it's me, that's who I want to go after. He's the best coach. He's got a tremendous resume in every possible way. He's an NBA coach, but he's a perfect fit there, and he's the guy. And but whatever they do, it's not the Kentucky of old, and there's no guarantees. It's sort of like everybody at the highest levels expects that they're going to win an NCAA championship. And if they don't, it's pure hell for the coach. Now, Musselman leaves to go to USC. He left. I mean, they're not going to get anybody. And maybe they will. Maybe Calipari can do better than what Musselman did at Arkansas. And he should. Musselman's a really good coach, but what an unusual move that is. I mean, USC basketball is by no means glamorous, not even in LA, doesn't draw big crowds. And it's not even, it's a Big Ten effort now. And that's in itself so hard to imagine, right?
Mm-hmm. He's a West Coast guy, though. He's a West Coast guy that was looking to get back to California. So to that end, it makes you're moving from Northwest Arkansas to Los Angeles. Like, that makes sense if you're a West Coast guy.
Right. And of course, his dad, who was a great basketball coach, who a guy I could fill the next half hour telling you stories of when he coached at South Alabama just against Louisiana Lafayette. I never knew there were that many multi-syllabic curse words that you can yell at a referee. But he was fabulous, the late Bill Musselman. But Calipari's smart to make this move for a number of reasons. Just he recognized wisely that his time was just up there. They weren't going to fire him. He was going to get another year. But this is a chance to go to a basketball fervent area. Let me tell you, people talk about where Duke plays and what an awesome environment it is in some other arenas. My personal favorite, for having seen an awful lot of college basketball, is when Arkansas is good. Bud Walton Arena is the best place to watch a college basketball game. It's just a fantastic arena, and the crowds are appreciative, and they call in the Hogs and, the Woo Pig. Everybody gets into it.
God.
It's really well done. Back when they were good in the Nolan Richardson days, when they won the NCAA championship, I think it was 94.
94.
They used to get 75, 80 private planes per game that would come land at that little airstrip there just to come show up for basketball games. So he can do great things there. But the people at Kentucky shouldn't think that no matter who they hire, we're just going to start winning NCAA championships again. No, you're not. You got a ways to catch up.
Do you think Billy Donovan will be the choice? Because the betting favorite, Lee, the odds makers have the betting favorite as Bryce Drew. As
seen in Hoop Daddy, of course, back in the day, from the famous Drew family. His brother, Bryce Drew from Grand Canyon, or not? No,
from Baylor.
Scott Drew.
I'm sorry. Did I say Bryce?
Yeah. Scott, all the Drews.
I should have said Homer Drew. I was hearkening to my Hoop Daddy days. Yes, Scott Drew from Baylor.
Homer Drew, the longtime great coach at Valparaiso, was one of Dale Brown's first assistants at LSU in 1972 when he took over. And his sons, of course, Bryce Drew, played for the Charlotte Hornets for a while. And then
I just remember the Valpo, the game winner against Ole Miss, right? That was the that was the famous shot.
Right. And he's the coach at Grand Canyon. His brother Scott has had fantastic success at Baylor and knows how to recruit internationally as good as anybody, and is a really good coach. Boy, that's a different world. Well, Baylor in itself is a different world. So wherever you go from Baylor, it's a different world. If it's me, at the quick look, like I said, I want Donovan.
So. It would be hard to go against a guy that won multiple national championships, who's also coached at Kentucky. I mean, he was on Pitino's staff at Kentucky. But no matter what, Lee, no matter who they hire, where that person might coach, one thing is for certain: wherever they go, they are sure to have plenty of ice, cold beer.
What is the malted liquor? What gets you drunker quicker? What comes in bottles or in cans? Beer. Can't get enough of it. Beer. How we really love it. Beer. Makes me think I'm a man. Beer. I could kiss and hug it, but I'd rather chuck it. Got my belly out to here. Beer. I could not refuse it. I could really use it. Beer.
Take it away.
Well, I was trying to move the cans, of course, for people in their cars. They don't see the video part, but I was trying to do it. I was humming the song to myself because I don't hear it because of our new hookup with the video. So I hope I was in pseudo sync.
Not really, but it is odd that you don't hear it. We got to work on that.
But I got two beers because the one that I didn't tell you ahead of time is from Parish Brewing over in Acadiana in Broussard. Sips Pinot Noir Black Currant. It's a rich Berliner Weisse, 4%, fruity, juicy tart. Really, really well worth picking up. I'm telling you, I really like this. This was good. But that's not my beer.
Okay.
My beer is from Gnarly Barley and Hammond. And here you go. You laugh when I said House Marg.
I think it's a
House
great name.
Is spelled like German.
Mm-hmm.
House Marg. It's this margarita gauche recalls one of our favorite libations by layering lime and tangerine into a gauche, a sour beer traditionally made with a hint of salt. A rounded, full mouthfeel meets a burst of citrusy flavors enveloped in a 5% sour beer for a level of refreshment you have never known. Well, you probably have, but it's good. And they're local. It's the Margarita Gauche, a nice change of pace, something good on a nice warm day. and you will thank me if you drink either one of those.
H-A-U-S. House Mar. Guy Heasley Feinswog. What's coming up on Sports Monday this week?
Sports 225. Among other things, I'm asking Zach Ewing, who has since transitioned from being the betting editor at NOLA.com to the Saints, but he's still a betting guy, to talk about prop bets. That's among the things I got going.
All right.
I don't. That's another issue that I'm sure you've addressed on this show. Prop
Check
bets.
out the Sports 225 YouTube channel. Thank you, Lee.
Okay, bye, Matt.
We'll see you. It's AFR.
AFR.
Buying or selling commercial or residential. If you need a realtor, you need Darren James. And one of the reasons I love telling you about Darren is not just because he's one of the top realtors in America. Literally, the Wall Street Journal's listed the top 1,000 realtors in America, top 1%. Darren was number 54 on that list last year. But Darren's a great person. He's a great man. Tyler Alexander, who's on Darren's team, posted on Facebook this week that his mother, who's been battling Parkinson's since she was a young adult, actually, is going for a surgery, and they're doing a jambalaya benefit for her to help offset some of the medical bills. It'll be this Saturday at 10:30 a.m. in front of Oak Point in Watson. $10 a plate. If you can't be there, if you can't buy the jambalaya dinner and you want to maybe help contribute, there is a Venmo handle there as well. You can search it on Facebook. I shared it as well. You can go search Tyler Alexander's page. It's Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off the new 23 Ram 1500 SCA truck. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $22,500 off the new Ram 1500 truck. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
For the night, climb up in the loft, sit and talk with the radio on. She says she's got a dream.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
So last week we told you that Cameron Wolf reported that there were a number of NFL teams that had moved Malik Nabers to the number 1 spot on their board at the wide receiver position. Well, Adam Schefter and Jordan Reed today effectively said the same thing on the Schefter pod. This was Matt Miller on the. Is it Matt Miller or is it Schefter and Reed?
Yeah, it was Matt Miller. The tweet,
Miller.
The tweet
Okay.
was wrong.
Yeah, so here it's Miller who said why they have teams moving Nabers ahead of Houston.
Back at the Senior Bowl, I had a report in one of our draft notebooks about that a handful of teams at that time thought Malik Nabers was the top receiver in the class. So I'm not surprised to hear that. I think if the three of us sat down in a room together and watched film on these wide receivers, we would all probably end up with different things we liked about each of them. That's what's happening now. And especially as you scout for an individual scheme like the Arizona Cardinals, you're probably going to want something different than a team like the Buffalo Bills might want or like the Los Angeles Chargers might want. So I think that's where some of the discrepancy comes in is for your scheme, Malik Nabers with that awesome speed and yards after catch ability might be more attractive to you than, this true vertical receiver who's a great route runner in Marvin Harrison Jr.
And we know Malik Nabers has elite speed because he ran the 40 and ran a 4.3. And Marvin Harrison pulled a Seinfeld at the Combine and Pro Day.
I choose not to run.
That's what he did. Everybody stands to sit here and ask, why are you choosing not to run? We saw Nabers. He ran a 4.35. What about you, Marvin?
I choose not to run.
Got it. It's after further review. Excited about the draft. Draft coming up 2 weeks from Thursday. We'll be having our draft party over at Don Juan Cigar Bar in Town Center. Really invite you to come out. It's going to be a lot of fun. The next Malik Nabers could very well be Kyron Lacey. Brian Kelly mentioned that, and Lacey met with reporters today. Real quick, I want to remind you about Optimize. GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. I don't think I need to convince you the merit of a Generac automatic home standby generator. I think if you live in this part of the world where storms threaten us from the Gulf, you understand the importance of a Generac automatic home standby generator. Power goes out, your generator kicks on, and it powers everything. All of your appliances, your AC, even your pool, if you have one. Everything. It's like nothing ever happened. Erica and I made this decision after Ida, and there's no doubt everyone who lives here wants one. Like every home should have a Generac automatic home standby generator. The question that people have is the most obvious one. Can I afford it? And who should I hire? Well, the can I afford it part is easy. Yes. Optimize offers up to warranties up to 7 years. Financing, up to 7 years. You can finance your generator, your Generac automatic home standby generator through Optimize with a variety of different options. So that way you could pay for it over time. But the most important part is not to wait, because this isn't like you call them, they bring a generator and hook it up. They've got to deal with permits for the city parish. They have to get the electricity company involved as well for the hookup. There are certain laws, how close or far it has to be from windows and things like that. So it's a little bit of a process, but Optimize, the reason you should call Optimize or go to GeneratorPeople.com, there's a lot of companies that sell Generacs. But a lot of companies do a lot of things, and oh, by the way, they also sell generators. Optimize, the only thing they do is sell automatic home standby generators. That's it. They're not a company that does a dozen different things, and one of them is generators. No. The only thing they do is sell, service, and install Generac automatic home standby generators. That is why Optimize is the number one Generac dealer in Louisiana, servicing the entire 1012 corridor. If you're in Lake Charles, Lafayette, Baton Rouge, I-12 toward the North Shore, I-10 toward New Orleans to Slidell, no matter where you are on the 1012 corridor, Optimize has an office near you, and they can get to you quickly, more efficiently, and do a better job than anybody else. Go to GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. Kyron Lacey met with reporters today, and I told you coming out of the scrimmage on Saturday that he took over that practice. And Brian Kelly on Saturday, after that practice, the first question out of the chute was about Kyron Lacey because he just continues to dominate. Listen to what Brian Kelly said.
One of the things that has clearly been present is that consistency. That wasn't necessarily the case with Kyron. He was easily distracted at times. And I think what has happened here more than anything else is he has found the right zone to be in as it relates to practicing and preparation. I think he learned a lot last year watching Malik and BT and the way they came to practice every day and how they performed and said, I can do this too. And I'm really proud of him and happy for him because he's going to have a breakout season.
Did you hear? So Brian Kelly on Saturday, if you're ever wondering like if the message is consistent, Brian Kelly on Saturday said consistency has been the thing. Again, that was Brian Kelly on Saturday, meeting with the media. Consistency has been the key for Kyron Lacey. Here was Kyron Lacey today, Tuesday, meeting with reporters.
Just staying consistent every single day. Everybody has to stay consistent. Everybody has to bring each other up. We can't have no off days. Everybody has to come in every single day ready to compete, ready to get better.
Sometimes when coaches and players are saying the same thing, the answer is very clear. That is the message that's being preached. Brian Kelly on Saturday said consistency. Kyron Lacey on Tuesday said consistency, being consistent every day. It's very obvious the thing that these coaches have stressed to Kyron Lacey. Hey, you can be the next Malik, Brian Thomas. I'd say Kayshawn when Kayshawn was healthy and performing very well. You can be the next great one if you consistently come every day and do the right things. And it is evident he is doing that so far in spring. Will it translate in the fall? All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're aboard with us here. Muse is going to have Tigers and the Pros to wrap up hour number 2 when we come back. Thank God it ain't hour number 1. I don't want to go backwards at time. I want to go forwards. Muse will have Tigers and the Pros to wrap up hour number 2. I do want to talk a little bit when we kick off hour 3 about the LSU defense coming out of this scrimmage over the weekend and how much they realistically can improve. We'll delve into that a little deeper coming up. Also, big night Pels at Blazers, LSU McNeese out at the box. We'll get to all that coming up in hour 3. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
A big shout out to our friends over at Action Industries, been servicing the petrochemical and refinery markets in our state for 42 years, since 1982. It's Action Industries. And check them out online. Check them out on their LinkedIn as well. If you're a project manager, a turnaround coordinator, our friends at Action Industries, man, they can help. A couple things you know as well as I do. You do not get hired as a contractor in a plant if you don't have an exemplary safety record. Action Industries, their safety record beats the industry standard. So check that box. And then you have to do great work, right? I've read some of the testimonials from companies who have hired Action over the years. They do exemplary work. It's why they get hired over and over and over again. Also, Action Industries does offer fabrication shop services, pipe, structural steel, pressure vessels, which not everyone does. It's Action Industries. Check them out online, Action Industries.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard. Our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Sexy, it really turns her on. She's always staring at me while I'm chugging along.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Like that song. Muse.
Yeah.
Earmark that one.
Okay.
Bring it back at some point. I like that one a lot.
Shuffle it back around.
Who sings that? Hank Williams there?
No.
Is that Kid Rock? He was here this weekend. I
This
saw
is
that.
not Kid Rock. No,
It's not Kid Rock.
It's not Kid Rock.
Is that is that Travis Tritt?
No, not Travis Tritt.
That Lane Kiffin.
No.
Muso Tigers in the pros.
Lane Kiffin.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, we'll start it off with some Major League Baseball.
Okay, here we go.
Let's go back to last night, if we could.
Let's.
Astros and Rangers wrapping up a 3-game set.
Let's go.
Alex Bregman, No. From New Mexico, that Alex Bregman.
Just preparing for what I thought was coming.
Oh, yeah, not yet. Alex Bregman, 3 for 5 in the ball game last night with a double. That was his third double of the season. Also drove in a run. The important part here for Bregman, looks like the bat's starting to come around. That is his first multi-hit game of the season. Raised the average up to 225. So Astros, they're going to make any type of run here early in the season. They stink. They're going to need Alex Bregman to be solid in the middle of that order. Josh Smith on the other side. There it is.
There it was.
Yeah,
That's where I thought you were starting, Muse.
His bat,
I
Matt,
thought you were starting.
not struggling.
Not
early
struggling.
in the year. Not struggling early in the year. Going to get a lot of run at third base right now, it seems, too, because Josh Jung injured for the Texas Rangers. That's where Smith started last night. 1 for 3. It was a single. Drove in a run. About 316 early in the season for Josh Smith.
That's how we do it over on Hearthstone.
Well, he's not there anymore.
That's just how we do it over there. You take those lessons with you for life, Muse.
Okay.
You learn how to hit over there on Hearthstone. You bring it with you to Dalrymple, or I guess it'd be Gurrier. Where they are now. Technically, you're not on Hearthstone where the baseball field is, but nonetheless, or if you go to New York or you go to Arlington, it don't matter.
Don't matter.
You take it with you forever.
There you go. A lot of people thought Wyatt Langford making the opening day squad.
Who?
Yeah. Might
Chump.
cause Smith to lose a roster spot. He's hitting 316. It's not going to happen.
Chump.
He's pretty good.
Wyatt Langford.
Yeah.
Loser. Not any good. Seen him play. Stinks.
Okay, don't push it. He's pretty good.
Hot take.
He's a bad take. Not just hot. Masters. The Masters gets underway on Thursday. We have first round starting time. Sam Burns in the field. Going to go off 1:12 p.m. local time, 12:12 p.m. Central time, paired with Australian Adam Scott, American Cameron Young. looking for major number one. Of course, winner of 6 professional events, but still looking for that first major. Best finish at Augusta is tied for 29th. That came last season. It's going to rain all day Thursday there, so he's actually not going to tee off. But if he were, it'd be at 12:12 Central Time. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by the Williamson Eye Center. Hey, you want to see 350 yards down the fairway with spectacular high-def Superman-like vision, Muse? Need the Williamson Eye Center. Dr. Blake Williams can make that happen for you. You want to ditch the contacts and glasses forever? Call 924-2020. 924-2020. Love telling you that we were on the news a couple weeks ago. Actually, it was last week. Dr. Blake performed the first of its kind cataract surgery in the world. Did it right here in Baton Rouge at the Williamson Eye Center. I'm telling you, there is nobody better. Whatever your apprehension may be, cost, putting a laser on your eye, whatever it is, just go for your consultation with Dr. Blake Williamson. 924-2020. 924-2020 or williamsoneye.com.
AFR.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. and we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. John Calipari confirmed today he's leaving Kentucky after 15 seasons, posted his announcement in a video on X. He did not indicate his next move, which reportedly is the head coaching job at Arkansas. Connecticut coach Dan Hurley, asked about the Wildcats, said he plans to stay where he is and win a third straight national title. First Take host, Stephen A. Smith.
He shouldn't even consider Kentucky. It's no longer the job it once was. John Calipari has contributed to the job not being what it once was. You got one title in 15 years. You got one title since 1996. UConn got 6.
The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship for the first time outdrew the men's. South Carolina, Iowa, 18.87 million viewers. UConn, Purdue averaged 14.82 million. NBA, LeBron James, Anthony Davis questionable for the Lakers tonight against the Warriors, a game that will impact postseason positioning. LA is 9th in the West. Golden State, game and a half back. NHL, Devils center Jack Hughes will undergo season-ending shoulder surgery tomorrow. Should be ready for training camp.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance, making it easy to save money. When you bundle your auto policy with home, condo, or renters, you'll earn a multi-policy discount. Easy to bundle, easy to save. Visit Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR. Powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
You sir. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Baseball Tigers at home against McNeese tonight. We expect starting lineups to be posted later this hour. We'll preview it. Otter at the end of the hour to give you Otter locks. Hat tip to our guy, Jimmy Ott, unafraid. His best college basketball handicapping season ever. And why not go out with a bang? Not only did he tell you to take UConn, but he didn't say, hey, lay the 7. He said take an alternate line, lay 11.5, and he hit at plus 170. Thank you very much, Otter, for a very, very profitable college basketball season if you were playing along with Jimmy Ott. As LSU approaches the spring game this weekend, the biggest question that we've talked about this spring and the question that will persist throughout this next portal cycle, whenever they get into summer workouts, when they get into fall camp, and then the season starts, is how much better is the LSU defense going to be? I think we all can look at the LSU offense and realize a lot of truths. The offensive line might be the best in the country. You've got a really veteran quarterback. You've got tons of talent at receiver. Yeah, you're short on numbers at running back, but Caden Durham's coming in. You think you're going to get back Trey Holly, and you should be plenty good enough there. You're going to have a great offense. You're going to score a lot of points and all that stuff. How much better can your defense be? You were 106th in the country in total defense last year. You were terrible. And your losses, you gave up at least 40 points in all of your losses. So how much better can your defense be? It was interesting because ESPN.com does this feature every year where they look at future power rankings. So they use their metrics and things like recruiting and returning talent and recent history, blah, 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 to determine future power rankings on sides of the ball. So they looked at basically they looked at what would the next 3 years likely to look like on the defensive side of the ball. And they ranked what over the next 3 years, how the defenses should rank in the next 3 years. And Georgia was 1, and Iowa was 2, and Michigan's 3, and Clemson's 4, and Ohio State 5. A lot of the usual suspects. Bama, dropped down to 6. That's not surprising there. Notre Dame, Texas, Penn State, Utah. A lot of the usual suspects, right? The surprise, though, is you got to go pretty far down to find LSU. And when you have a season like LSU did last year, that's not, that's to be expected. A year ago in these rankings, LSU was projected 7th in the 3-year rolling average of the future power rankings. This year, LSU's 24th. So clearly, last year you plummeted, but it wasn't just last year. If you go back since the national championship in 2019, LSU since 2020 is 94th nationally in yards allowed, 79th in points allowed, and 41st in defensive efficiency. So you're talking over the last 4 years, you're 94th in the country in yards allowed. That don't smell and sound like LSU defense. Now, you've got the 2020 and 2023 defenses in there, which are the 2 worst in the history of LSU football. So, yeah, you're not going to be super great in that respect. But one of the big takeaways I had watching the scrimmage this past weekend, and I want to grant you, this was a small sample, okay? It was a spring practice. The roster isn't whole. You don't have most of your freshman class in, some of your transfers. You're playing a lot of early enrollees. So, again, small, incomplete sample. But one of my takeaways that I shared with you was that even though the first offense kind of had their way with the first defense, when the 2s and 3s went out there, the defense had the upper hand, which kind of tells me the depth and the young talent defensively, something to be excited about. Like Gabe Relaford, freshman early enrollee defensive end, had a monster win against Tyree Adams, who's your second-team left tackle. Those are the kind of things when you look and go, okay. I mean, your backup linebackers right now are West and Whit Weeks, and everybody's excited about what Whit Weeks is going to be. P.J. Woodland's a true freshman early enrollee who was running first team at cornerback. You understand my point? I can look ahead and say, yeah, the offense right now is light years ahead of your defense. But it feels like the cavalry's on the way. Now, with respect to the ESPN thing, it's really hard to project. I mean, look, last year they projected LSU 7th over the next 3 seasons defensively. And LSU went and had the worst season in defensive history. And now this year, they're 24th on that list. The first line, by the way, in this ESPN piece projecting the next 3 years defensively, the first line is talent is never the issue on the Bayou, but LSU's defense has fallen off since the national championship season. Talent is never the issue? Oh, I fundamentally disagree with that. Name one player in LSU's secondary last year that's going to be an NFL draft pick. Name one. Major Burns? Sage Ryan? Andre Sam? Ashton Stamps? Jeremiah Hughes? Zy Alexander? Any of those guys going to get drafted? Any of those guys look like Eric Reed, Tyrann Mathieu, Jamal Adams, Greedy Williams, Grant Delpit, Mo Claiborne, Patrick Peterson, Derek Stingley? No, in the past, talent was never an issue. Look at LSU's defensive line. Do you see Glenn Dorsey, Claude Roten, Michael Brockers, Benny Logan, Drake Nevis, Kyle Williams? You see any All-Americans there? I don't. So, yeah, talent's an issue on the Bayou right now, defensively. But it doesn't mean they can't fix it, not working toward fixing it. Because what I see right now is Corey Raymond getting LSU's talent back to what it looked like. The fact that P.J. Woodland is taking first-team reps, yes, it's a sad commentary on some of the veteran players there, but the fact that a true freshman early enrollee steps onto campus and goes, I'm ready, that's encouraging for the future. I can look at that defensive line and go, hey, man, Deshaun Womack running with the twos was having his way at right defensive end. Kalaj Cobbins, who's a freshman early enrollee linebacker, made some really nice plays working at that sort of like edge jack position. Dominic McKinley's a 5-star who's coming in. You could look to the 2025 class is the number one class in the country. You got a guy like Jabari Antoine already committed. You could look ahead. I didn't even mention a guy like Deshaun McBride, true freshman early enrollee from Denham Springs, who does look like Eric Reed, like the prototypical safety LSU's had. And then I could look to 2026. Jakeem Stewart's the number one player in the country. He's a defensive lineman from St. Aug. Blaine Bradford, one of the top players in the country, safety at Catholic High. Aiden Hall's a safety in New Orleans, top 50 player in the country. Like, the cavalry's on the way. The talent isn't there now, but there's some young talent there now, and the cavalry's on the way. And then, of course, you can always supplement with the portal. So all this to say, I don't know that you're going to see this dramatic improvement defensively this year. Maybe dramatic with comparison to what we saw defensively from LSU in 2023, meaning you might go from 108th in the country in total defense to 62nd. And that might be good enough. It might be good enough to shrink that margin so you don't lose the game at Ole Miss when you score 45. Right? Well, if that happens, you turn around, you're 10-2, you're a playoff team. It's why it's possible for this year's team. Harold Perkins met with reporters on Tuesday, and one of the things he talked about is, like, when you listen to this soundbite, it's the thing that really gives me maybe a glimmer of optimism that you can see that improvement. Again, I'm not telling you they're going to be a top 20 defense in the country. I don't think there's enough talent on this defense to be that good against the schedule you face, but to be good enough to complement a really good offense.
I feel like collectively as a defense, we are motivated. I'm saying we got a lot of new faces around here, and everybody is like, we not taking that in a bad way. We're buying into it. So I think that's a good thing when you got all your players buying into it, tell you what you got going on, you got something going.
We're motivated, we're buying in. That's the leader of your defense, saying we're motivated, we're buying in. Also said he loves being coached by Blake Baker. So sometimes, I don't think you had this last year. It takes the guys on the field trusting the coaches to execute. You didn't have that a year ago. The video that kind of went semi-viral after the bowl game when Matt House was trying to go congratulate all the guys, and your defensive lineman number 18, Mekhi Wingo, who came back from surgery to play in a bowl game before going pro because that's his level of buy-in and give a damn. And Mekhi Wingo wouldn't even shake Matt House's hand. Like, that's evidence of what was going on internally a year ago defensively. Well, there's Harold Perkins saying, I love being coached by Blake Baker. We're motivated and we're bought in. Like, just that is a massive step forward from a year ago. So, I don't know. What does the next 3 years look like? I think it's going to be good because I could show you the talent that is coming into this program on the defensive side of the ball over the next 3 years. I'm more concerned with how does it look this fall. And I just don't think it can look as bad as it did last fall. It would be hard. I mean, you would have to be, again, the worst defense in the history of the program. All right, it's after further review. You will all get our own view, right, on Saturday at the spring game. We're brought to you by Evermore. That's a great idea, by the way, with the spring game. Before you go sit out the spring game, make sure you bring Evermore. Stop by whatever local store, convenience store, grocery store, tons of great local retailers. Pick up Evermore. You want better hydration? Evermore. Evermore is natural artesian water out of an artesian well right there on the North Shore in Covington. It's an amazing facility. I got to go tour it a few weeks back. I've been telling you, that water is piped out of the ground straight into that bottle, and it does not touch air until you uncap it. This isn't, filtered water, purified water. There's nothing added or extracted. Go look at other water bottles. You'll see minerals. Look at the label. Minerals added for flavor or taste. Not like, no. This is water from the ground put into that bottle. It's as natural as it can come. It's Evamor. 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 You want better hydration? You want a healthier alternative for your family? Drink Evamor. Great local retailers and online at evamor.com. EVAMOR. Evamor.com. Pick up some Evamor. Shoot me a picture on Twitter, on Instagram like that, in a story. I would love to retweet it, share it. Would love to know your feedback on it. Just great tasting water. It's Evamor. Okay, it's after further review. About 15 minutes from now, we'll keep an eye out for the starting lineups with LSU and McNeese. We'll see what Jay Johnson elects to do. My guess is Cade Anderson gets the ball tonight. I don't know if we'll do something different, but that would stand a reason to be a pretty good idea. Kind of get Cade Anderson going again. And then we'll see what he elects to do with the lineup against McNeese. But this is a team, look, you've won 3 in a row against McNeese. But in your last 7, you're just 4-3. So Justin Hill's squad is feisty, and they've lost to some really good teams. They got swept by Arkansas. I mean, they lost to good teams. A&M. So big opportunity for LSU tonight to test their mettle before they hit the road to take on Tennessee. We'll knock out a quick break. Also a huge night tonight for the Pelicans as they're at the Blazers, and this is your easiest remaining game. You got to go get this one. We'll talk about it next on AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
Well, she ain't into cars or pickup trucks, but if it runs like a deer, man, her eyes light up. She thinks my track.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and the Baton Rouge Clinic bring you the Dreams Come True Radiothon. Dreams Come True is an organization designed to help grant dreams for children with life-threatening illnesses and their families. The Dreams Come True Radiothon is presented today by Boudreaux Electric, Mid-City Title, and Unique Physique. Donate today at 1045ESPN.com.
Well, it feels like you're playing that song out, man. Like,
I've never played this song before. This is the first time it's ever been played on this show.
It's not true. You play it every single break.
No, I don't. I don't show them out.
Go into Sterlitz, get the rejoin from every break of the show. Do that this segment.
No.
That's what I want. Yes. We're going to do that in the next segment. I want the rejoin of every break in this show so far. Mashed up together. Like, do, boom, 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 boom.
Sterlitz crashed. I can't do that.
Then get it out of Adobe, because clearly you've obviously had a backup, right? Because you, as a good producer, you would have a backup plan in case if Sterlitz did in fact crash, right?
Yeah,
it
just crashed.
Wouldn't you do that?
I would absolutely do that.
Yeah,
yes.
Sure.
But it just crashed.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Like right now.
Well, then we could have it for all the previous segments instead of just right now. So get on that, Muse. The TV ratings are in. A lot of people are talking about it. The women's game outdrew the women's national championship game, outdrew the men's national championship game. So South Carolina and Iowa drew 18.9 million people. And the UConn-Purdue game drew 14.8 million viewers. So that is a sizable gap. The difference is actually the average for like the last decade that have watched the women's game, which averages under 5 million people for the national championship game for a decade. The difference was about 4.1 million viewers. So about what the women's game had average was the margin in this between the two. A couple of things on this. So first of all, congrats. An amazing moment for women's college basketball. No doubt. It's the first time that's ever happened that the women's game is outdrawn the men's game. I think there's a few takeaways. One, this pretty clearly proves that you don't have to have a game in prime time to get a massive number, right? I mean, the women's game started at 2 Central. So 3 Eastern, 2 Central on a Sunday. Now, it was on ABC. The men's game was on TBS, which buries it a little bit, quite honestly. I mean, if it had been, it's the way the Final Four rotates now with all its partners. A game on CBS is going to be more visible than a game on TBS. Look, I mean, I do sports talk. On Saturday, when I was going to find the Final Four games, I went to CBS, and I'm like, what, is, they're showing like an old movie or something? I had no idea it was on. I didn't know where it was. I had to go search for it and find it. I'm sure a lot of you had the same experience. I had to go search for it on TBS and find it on TBS. So that's part of it. But the margin suggests it's not just that, the happenstance of it. The biggest difference between the two is you had star power in the women's game. Caitlin Clark was a magnetic star that people wanted to watch. And as you saw, last year's national championship game was the most viewed women's game ever. And then every subsequent game this year, the Elite Eight game with Caitlin Clark and Iowa against LSU, their Final Four game, and then the national championship game against USC, they kept besting their previous best number. When they beat UConn, then they lost to South Carolina. The draw was Caitlin Clark. Full stop. The draw was Caitlin Clark. So I will be very interested to see, with Caitlin Clark gone, what the number looks like next year. Did Caitlin Clark create enough of a moment in women's college basketball to where people are going to continue coming back to women's college basketball, or were they just there to see Caitlin Clark? That's the unknown, and we'll see next year. But you're not going to do that number again next year because you're not going to have Caitlin Clark in that game. So does women's college basketball continue doing a good job of marketing its star players? That's a giant part. That is the underlying question of this. There's no way around that. I also think starting last night's game at 9:20 Eastern hurt the number as well. Again, this isn't like, please don't misunderstand me. I'm not excuse making for why the women's game beat the men's game. The women's game was far more entertaining. I watched them both. The women's game was a more entertaining product to watch. The pace of it, I liked better. Obviously, Caitlin Clark is a captivating story. What would she pull up from 40 and keep hitting? It was a better product. So it would have outdrawn it either way. I'm just talking about now the men's game and the number being lower or being where it was. It proved you don't have to tip at 9:20 Eastern. I mean, when the game started to get away, the East Coast is going, it's 11 o'clock. I'll just go to bed. Right? And so you lost major population centers on the East Coast. But again, I think the bigger takeaway, too, is you can have a game at 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern on a Sunday afternoon and get a massive number if you have all the right components. And the women's tournament did. Will it continue forward? See, this is making its way around. If you haven't seen this chart yet, there's this is from Nielsen, which does all the ratings, and they looked at the men's and women's tournaments and put them on a graph, on the same graph from the last decade, from 2014 to now. And what you see on the women's chart, so if you're looking at it, let me just zoom in a little so you can see this a little clearer for those who are watching. From 2014, the yellow line is the women's championship. And you see below 5 million viewers. And it's pretty flat. Flat, all the way across. And then, boom, spiked to 10 million viewers. That was last year's championship game. You doubled your audience from 5 million to 10 million, where you were flat, right around 5 million. Then you went, boom, 5 million to 10 million last year. And then, boom, 10 million to 20 million this year. I mean, you quadrupled your audience from 2 years ago this year. You went from 5 million 2 years ago to 20 million this year. That's insane. That's not sustainable. You had a parabolic rise. It's going to normalize, but does it go back down to 5, or does it settle somewhere in the middle? That'll be the real test case of the staying power of women's college basketball. The men's number, I think, is interesting as well, because if you look back to 2014, was that Duke? Please look up the men's championships.
It would have been UConn. I think that was UConn versus.
14, and then 15 was 15 the year with Jaleel Okafor and Duke when they won it. So that was the big spike then in 15 that went up to nearly 30 million viewers, and that makes sense because Duke is always going to draw. But then after that, you see another drop down to about 17 million. Then boom, another spike to like 23 million. Then another drop to like 16 million. Then another little pump, and then it's the last 4 championships, you've seen this sort of gradual decline. Now, that coincides with just what we're talking about, the TV networks and your matchups. Look, last year's matchup was atrocious. I mean, it was UConn and San Diego State, and the game wasn't good. So it drew 15 million. And this year drew 15 million again because it was on TBS, and the game wasn't good. It wasn't competitive. So naturally, you see it, but you'll see a spike when you have teams that are interesting and games that are good. You see the men's game approach 30 million viewers. I'm curious if the women's game can get any higher than it is right now. That'll be the fascinating thing. Did you have it? What was 15?
Yeah, 15 was Duke, Wisconsin. 14 was UConn, Kentucky.
Who was the tall kid from Wisconsin?
Frank Kaminsky. Frank Kaminsky.
And then what was 17? Because then there was this giant drop off.
17?
No, I'm sorry, 16.
16 was Villanova and North Carolina. Oh, my God, that game was awesome.
That was a great game, yeah.
This is one of the greatest games ever.
That was the shot.
Yeah.
And with North Carolina in it as well. But doesn't it go to show you, like, it was freaking Duke? I mean, love people. And you had Kaminsky, who was a big star. It was Jaleel Okafor and Frank Kaminsky. That was the game that drew nearly 30 million. But again, does it say what network that was on? The North Carolina game? Was it CBS, or had they?
Wait, the North Carolina game or the Duke game?
North Carolina.
Let me get back.
North Carolina, Villanova. I mean, that was an incredible game.
That was so good. It looks like it was CBS.
Okay.
Still then, yeah.
So it hadn't changed yet. So, but then you spiked the next year, which would have been 15, would have been 17. You don't have the champions up?
No, I can get it. Hold on. Yeah, I'm right there with it. 17 was North Carolina beating Gonzaga.
Okay. I'm trying to remember that game. I don't remember anything about that.
I don't remember that game either.
Hester would.
Yeah, Hester
resident
would.
Gonzaga fan.
He would.
Anyway, but this is kind of the point, right? And then what was the next year? Just run through them real quick.
Okay, 18 after that would have been Villanova defeating Michigan.
That was Spike Albrecht when Spike Albrecht went wild in the first half. That number dropped like 15 million. Then you had a spike the next year at about 20 million. Who was that?
That was Virginia and Texas Tech. That was a pretty good game from what I remember.
That was a good game,
Yeah.
and that was Virginia's bounce back after losing
To UMBC, yeah.
To UMBC. You didn't have a tournament in 20. What was
Correct.
21?
2021 was Baylor over Gonzaga.
Got it. 17 million-ish.
Yeah, and then 22 was Kansas, North Carolina last year.
Yep. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that was 22.
That was the one in New Orleans, and that was a massive Final Four. Like, that was the one if we had actually, like, it was Coach K's final year. If you had gotten Duke, Kansas, and Coach K's final game, that would have set every record. But North Carolina beating Duke in that national semifinal hurt the number a little bit on that, which is interesting because the games North Carolina has been in, the numbers dropped. Clearly, UNC doesn't draw the way. Clearly, they don't draw the way Duke is. It's probably just because people hate Duke. I mean, it's more rooted in hatred than fandom.
That Duke North Carolina game in that Final Four, though, had to be off the charts. Yeah. I mean, that had to be a massive rating.
And then we talked about the last two, which were both around 15 million. So anyway, it's just interesting to look at the chart and the graph. And there's a few things that are illustrated. I don't know that I honestly don't know that you really care about this even, but I'm just sort of taking a chance talking about the numbers because everyone's talking about how historic this is. So I'm walking through a little bit of how and why it's gone the way it has. Like, you can very clearly look, you had a decade of the women's college. Pull this up again, Paul. You have a decade of the women's college basketball championship game drawing right at about 5 million, and then last year went to 10, and then this year went to 20. And so you went line, boom, boom. Is that sustainable? No, that's not sustainable. The big question next year is, without Caitlin Clark, does that number go back down to 5 million, or do they settle somewhere in between? That would illustrate the relative growth of the game. Okay, it's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com. Tell you what, the South Carolina ladies, they're getting their jewelry. They're getting their rings. Gentlemen, you want to thrill your future missus with a beautiful diamond that she will love and look at with loving eyes and joy and glee every time for the rest of her life when she looks at her left hand thinking of your commitment, that symbol of your love. Let Lee Michaels help. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill her with a gift in the red box. lmfj.com. That's the website, lmfj.com. If you're thinking of popping the question, let Lee Michaels help. It's where all of Louisiana is going to get engaged for 4 decades. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. Okay, it's after further review. Oh, the one thing I wanted to get there that I didn't get to was Pels Blazers tonight. So let me break. We'll come back. We'll get you the starting lineup for LSU and McNeese out at the box. And I do want to talk quickly Pels Blazers because something that transcends not only basketball but transcends humanity happened today with respect to this game that I want to discuss. I'm not even joking, by the way. That's next. It's AFR.
AFR.
All right, y'all. It's River City's 1 hour air. We're heading toward the summer months. Have you called yet? Have you called River City's 1 hour air? I'm going to keep pushing you to do this to get your preseason AC tune-up. Call River City's 1 hour air. It's so important to do this because our friends at River City's 1 hour air will come to your house. They'll make sure your AC is tuned up. It's running efficiently, because the last thing in the world you want to have happen is a little bitty issue become a very big, very expensive issue where you're talking about replacing parts or your entire unit. Don't let that happen. The best example I can always give, it's like if you're driving across the country, you're going to make sure your car is tuned up, your oil is changed, right? Your tires are rotated. Make sure it's ready to go for this long trip. Well, your AC is about to embark on the long journey through a Louisiana summer. Make sure it's ready. River City's 1 hour air can help. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Muse, I don't have time. You got to figure something out.
What?
This song. I mean, you keep playing the same song over and over again. I mean, it's getting a little redundant. You know, you keep playing. I get it. John Sunshine, tractors, tractor in the. I get it.
Sexy tractor.
It's great. I mean, I get it. We're talking about John Deere, our friends at Sunshine, amazing. Yes, but we get it, Muse. You know, you can work something else in from time to time. You know, and have to be the same tractor song over and over again. You know what I mean?
You know, look, it's a good vibe.
I'm not denying that.
We've had a few different ones. This one plays.
Maybe change it up a little. You know what I mean? All right, Pels are going to play tonight. Graf was here on Wednesday. We were actually at the Smoothie King Center. Graf came on the show. Muse, what did Graf tell us?
They were going to lose if he was on the show.
Okay, I need you to be a little more explanatory here for our audience.
Okay, well, Graf had said every time he'd come on the show this season, the Pelicans had lost. Or I'm sorry, if it was a game day and like to preview, the Pelicans had lost that game.
Did you ever go back and research what I asked you to research and see the record?
No, but
Got
we
it.
can do that.
Thanks. Great job, Muse. Appreciate you doing your... Look, I'm telling you, Paulie, look at this guy. He plays the same sinking song. He doesn't give me the research I wanted. I told him I wanted him to go and did you go into Sterling's Music get the thing that I wanted? The intros to this every show? Every segment? No. Clearly.
I can't cue something up.
Clearly. There it is. Tell you what, Muse. Tell you what.
Well, to be fair, in the last segment, I was also helping you read off the champions and go through ratings. So that would have impeded me clipping. What are we on now? 12 segments? Are we up to 12 rejoins here so far today?
No, he's got top of the hour too. But Muse, you've only had a week to get me Graf's record. on days he's been here.
Yeah, I'm already back in 2022 here in the text messages. So, and then they just disappeared.
Anyway, point is, Graf says when he comes on, they always lose. He's superstitious, so he don't want to come on the show anymore. I begged him to come on the show last week because I was at the Smoothie King Center, and he's like, you know what? I'll do it because you're here. And they're playing Orlando, and it felt like it was one they were going to win. And then, of course, the Pelicans went and laid a big stinking egg. Zion got hurt. Someone took out his knee. He also hurt his finger. 3 players got ejected at the end of the game. It was a total disaster. So what else could I do but call upon our Father? And by our Father, I don't mean our Father in heaven. I mean our Father, Father Michael Alelo, Padre Hooch, who, yes, I can't believe I didn't think of this before, he who came here and prayed with us before the draft lottery, which is what netted the New Orleans Pelicans the lottery win to draft Zion Williamson. We've had people have him pray to get them jobs. That's happened. People who were unemployed. He prayed for LSU baseball. There's been many instances here where Father Alelo has come on the show and prayed, and that prayer has manifest into goodness. So my thought was, hey, I need to get Hooch on the show today. And I needed to get Graf here as well to have him exorcise whatever demon is hovering over me in this show. So I reach out to Father Alelo, and I'm like, hey, Hooch, I need you to come on the show today. The Pels are playing the Blazers. The Blazers are awful. They should win this game. I know it's on the road. Pels are playing for a ton. They got to win this game. I need you to, when Graf comes on the show, I need you to pray for the Pels to win this game while Graf's on the show. And he wouldn't come on the show today, which is very disappointing to me. But he had a good reason.
Okay.
He's in the Holy Land, which actually I think makes this better, because not only is Father Alelo in the Holy Land, he is literally locked inside of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. If you're not familiar, this is the place that is known to be where Jesus was buried after he was crucified. The early Christians built a church upon that place. And he's locked in there until 5 a.m. Seriously. I don't know what he's doing in there.
Probably praying.
But he tweeted a picture. I'll be locked here. I'll be here locked inside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre until 5 a.m. Know that your intentions are here with me. And then, look, he has a beautiful picture there of the altar at the church. Listen. And then he tweeted after this picture, and Matt Moscona, I'll even pray for your Pelicans curse to be lifted, and at LSU baseball can pull it together. So I like it. I mean, we have a priest who is literally in the church, in the Holy Land, that is built upon the place where Jesus' body was laid in the tomb, where he rose from the dead. And he's praying for the Pelicans to win, that my Pelicans curse be lifted. If this doesn't work, then the Pelicans are doomed. They should just move the franchise, and LSU should stop playing baseball. If we come back tomorrow and the Pels have lost and LSU loses to McNeese, the Pelicans should move and LSU baseball should shut down the program. What else are we doing here?
Do both of those things have to happen, or
Yes.
is it just a one?
No.
So if you get a 1-1 night, we're good.
No. They both have to happen. Are you kidding me? What's going to happen tonight up in Portland? The 18-win Blazers are just going to go buck wild when the Pelicans are fighting to avoid the play-in? No. If Alelo is, in fact, a holy man of God, praying right there in the holiest of places you can imagine, for this, it's got to happen. to get Graf on the phone. Do you want to try to call him? I need I need a reaction from Graf to know what he feels about this. All right, Otterlocks is next, and maybe Graf.
AFR.
Get Gordon. Get it done. Gordon McKernan, injury attorneys. Big shout out to Gordon McKernan. Right now, Gordon's grads is going on. So if you are, or if you have an upcoming grad in your family, remember, Gordon McKernan is giving away 12 laptops for a graduate headed toward college or trade school. So if that's you, or if that's someone in your family, if you know a grad, let them know that Gordon's giving away 12 laptops. So go to gordonsgrads.com. Again, go to gordonsgrads.com. When you're on the homepage, you'll scroll, and you'll see right there on the homepage, you'll scroll, and you'll see right there. There we go. And you see right there on the homepage that you can enter to win a free laptop. Just enter that form right there. You see all the info. 12 lucky winners are going to get a free laptop heading toward college or trade school, courtesy of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Get Gordon. Get it done.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
He's here. Anyone want a Coors Light?
Oh, shoot, I forgot to play the song. I got a guy who can fix this.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR. One thing left to do. Find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otterlocks.
Otterlocks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often income. Jared Jones is leading off tonight. What are we doing? What are we doing? We've jumped the shark with the lineup changes. Anyway, Honor, how are you?
Doing great, Matt.
I've congratulated you many times today, but now that you're here, I'll do it again.
Okay.
Jimmy's most profitable college basketball season ever, and it ended, why not, what a punctuation, saying, no, don't lay the 7. Alternate line, lay 11.5, and boom, the Otter hits. Congratulations. Great play, great season, man, all year.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. I mean, it's rarely have I backed a favorite but like this. But I mean, the books got killed. But I mean, they're a special team, and their coach. They had a big turnover in personnel, but their coach is the same, and the culture of their program is they don't exhale. They go for the throat, man. And I mean, and not all teams do that. Even like on the women's side, as dominant as South Carolina was, they would go through lapses, almost disinterest. There's no way Indiana should play them that close, or the game in the regional final.
You're right.
But, so it's man, they really didn't. They played Edey straight up, but they didn't stop him. But I mean, he played in a loss. I got a lot of respect for Zach Edey, man. He played awesome. He doesn't have a whole lot of help.
Oh, he had no help. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
hey, let's get to it tonight.
Okay.
I don't know if you heard us today on the show, but in the NBA, a long road trip.
Let's go. Okay. Who we got?
Who are the Pels playing tonight?
Oh, my goodness.
Uh-huh.
Are you serious? It's the Pelly Pels is the play?
The last time they played at home was March 23rd.
We're laying 13.5?
You got to stick with the system.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hey, how about the second half? They got a little momentum. They're rolling into Portland. 7-game road trip to come back home.
Portland's on a 7-game road trip?
Got to take care of the kids. Got to take care of the friends. The kids, they got stuff for you to do. You're going to be a blowout tonight in Portland.
Okay. New Orleans. Otters laying the 13.5. All right.
All right. Got a fun one for you here, too. A future parlay.
Okay.
We're going to have more Masters picks tomorrow, okay? But along with a parlay, Scheffler, can't bet. It's like going to the track and betting a favorite. You just don't do it, okay? We're trying to make a hit.
All right.
So, but we're going to put Scheffler in a small parlay, get him to win it.
Okay.
And then, I've already bet this at DraftKings earlier today. It's the best price. And the Nuggets to win the NBA.
Okay.
Pays 22-10.
Okay, so how many units or do you bet a half a unit? What's the percentage bet here?
Yeah, your normal play a half. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So it's
maybe a third, maybe a quarter, maybe it's up to you. If you're a $100 player, I'd put 25 on it.
Got it. Okay, so we're looking at Scheffler to win the Masters and parlay it with a futures bet on the Nuggets to win the NBA championship.
Yeah. 22 to 1.
I love it. Okay, 22 to 1. LFG. Let's do it. All right. What else we got? Otter? Is that it?
Late, my Cubbies, a little 8-0 lead last night. That's the way it goes. We think they're still sulking tonight. They got the local boy from El Cajon tonight on the mound at Petco, Joe Musgrove.
Okay.
Musgrove. That's right, Musgrove. Come on, Chucky. So,
all right. It's money line or run line with the Padres?
1 minute remaining. Money line.
All right, Padres minus 135 at DraftKings.
So a little sprinkle tonight.
All right.
Little hoops.
Love it.
Baseball. Little golf future parlay.
I love it. So good. All right, Otter, where are you tomorrow?
We are at the new location of Los Reyes Mexican Grill across from Mike Anderson's on Lee near Nicholson.
Very cool. And will you put out your consensus master plays from all of your handicappers?
About 12:35, 12:40 tomorrow.
Okay. And we'll try to recap that tomorrow when you're here for Otter Locks, but make sure you're tuned into Charles and Jimmy tomorrow a little after 12:30. All right, Otter, we appreciate it, man. Have a great night.
All right, Matt. Good luck.
All right, same to you. That'll do it for us here on this Tuesday edition of AFR. Muse, Paulie, I appreciate it. Y'all have a great night. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow. LSU, McNeese coming up in about 35 minutes.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank and vinyl siding. They do it all. Oh, yeah. They do indoor shutters as well. It's Relief Windows. Look, if you want to buy windows, you call Relief Windows. They're the best. They're going to give you the best product, the best experience, top-notch, lifetime transferable warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage. The thing that I'll tell you is if you're calling to get a whole bunch of quotes because you're just looking for who's going to be the cheapest, don't call Relief Windows. I'll save you the time because they're not going to be the cheapest, but they will be the best. The best quality products, the best install, measure twice, install once, custom windows to the specifications for your home, a friendly crew who you're happy to have in your home. And if anything does happen to go wrong at all, remember, they never take a dollar from you until they're done and you're thrilled. That's Relief Windows. ReliefWindows.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off the new 23 Ram 1500 SCA truck. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $22,500 off the new Ram 1500 truck. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales,